asking yourself, what information would actually change how I make decisions today, right? And there's a great Apple Watch example of this about sleep tracking. So for a long time, Apple didn't do sleep tracking. And the reason was that having your sleep data doesn't actually inform any action or changes for the most part. There are about 10 core things that will have the biggest impact on people's sleep. You could fit all that information on a Post-it note. And if you follow those 10 things, then it really doesn't matter what the results are. Your results have no impact on the decision making at all, because what works really doesn't change much based off of tracking your sleep. You're not gonna make better decisions based on that data. Obviously, this isn't always true. There's exceptions to the rule, right? There are some scenarios where maybe that data is valuable, but for the vast majority of people, tracking it makes no impact on anything. And what I typically tell people is, unless you're like launching a space shuttle, having every single metric up on the wall all at the same time won't really make any big impact for you. You're gonna be much better off going through each metric one by one and asking yourself, well, if this metric increased a little, would that affect my decision making? If it increased a lot, would it affect my decision making? If it was trending in a certain direction over time, would that affect my decision making? For most of those, the answer is probably going to be no. You might be tempted to try to force a square peg into a round hole and say it would, but if you're really honest with yourself, a lot of the time it won't. And in many of those situations, what you really need is just an alert. Like, if this metric increases or decreases more than 80%, I need the red phone to ring, you know? But beyond that, for a lot of stuff, you're gonna find that realistically, tracking it's gonna do you almost no good. This can be a hard pill to swallow for people, especially the ones that have been tracking a lot of data for a long time. And hey, keep tracking your data. There might be a use for it someday. But what I typically say to people is, hey, if you've been tracking this for a year, have you ever used this metric to inform a decision? Has it ever actually made any meaningful, actionable impact? If the answer is no, then it might not need to be included in the dashboard you check every day or every week. It might just be taking up real estate that it doesn't need to be taken up.